So right now I'm at the Horseshoe Meadows campground, and I'm kind of right, yeah, there I am, right there. So I'm gonna go just hang out, finish eating my apple, and call it an evening and be ready to go tomorrow. So last night it rained for about 5 hours with hail, lots of thunder, lightning, and because of this area, it just reverberates off all the canyon walls and it's loud. Anyway, got wetted out pretty good. So this is my last night. I'm at Upper Paradise Valley. I got a killer sore throat right now. I'm at a loss for words. I got 9 miles to get out. Deb's gonna pick me up. I'm getting ready to go to the JMT. So I have, again, I gotta go 9 miles a day and then 5 miles tomorrow, and I'll be on the JMT. And head north, and 16 days later, she's gonna pick me up. 38.5 pounds. I think that's pretty good, actually. All right. All good. Well, day one, bit of a rough start. I left a bag of food for today, snacks, dinner, lunch. I left it at the motel. So we pivoted. We quickly headed over to Cedar Lodge down here in Kings Canyon and hit the market, and we bought some snacks. They had some dinners, so I bought one. So today, about 9 miles to Upper Paradise Valley, and we're gonna get settled in there tonight. Hopefully get there around 3:30, and just have a great day. So it's about 5:30. I'm at Upper Paradise. This is a really nice area. It's pretty mosquito free right now. There's lots of spots to camp, fire pits. My tent's right over there. There's a fire pit just right there. I don't know if I'm gonna have a fire tonight. I am gonna make dinner soon, and then probably stay up a little bit and then call it a night and get up early and get going on day 2. Okay, it is 7:50. I broke down camp, and the first thing I had to do is cross the creek. So kept my Crocs on this morning, packed up, crossed the creek, and then as soon as I got to the side, put my boots on, and I'm kind of following this makeshift trail back to the main trail. I'm gonna head up to Woods Creek, about 5 miles, and then take a big break there and have lunch. And I think I'm on the main trail. And then head up to Twin Lakes, which sets me up for Pincho Pass tomorrow. So here we go. All right, it's about 11 o'clock. I'm at Woods Creek, and I got to go back across that bridge and get on the JMT and head east and north. You saw in that picture that gentleman sitting there. That was Bob. I met him last night at Paradise Valley, and he is a professor at Caltech, and he's doing the Ray Lake Loop. So he left about 30 minutes ago, and he's heading up the canyon that way, and I'm gonna head that way. I met Scott and Jill earlier today. We were all heading the same direction, and it's 3 o'clock. We're at Twin Lakes. This is originally where I was going to camp, but the weather's looking good, and we decided to go for the pass. So maybe hit the pass about 6, who knows? So here we go. So I'm trying to be quiet because Scott and Jill are nearby. So after going over Pincho Pass, we did 1.5 miles down to Marjorie Lake and got here about 6. Did everything, food, clean up, and it's about 7:30, and I am tired. So have a good night. Good morning. So it's 7:35 now. Camped at Marjorie Lake last night at 11,000 feet. Today, about 11 miles. We gotta go over Mather Pass. Well, it's 8 miles to the pass and 4 miles down to Palisade Lake. I've been with Scott and Jill since yesterday, and they did the Appalachian Trail together, or they met on the trail. And they said, hey, let's do the JMT. So here they are. And I came across them yesterday, and it was really nice to have people to hike with. However, they did push my limits, but it actually was a good payoff. So we'll see today if they go beyond Palisade or not. I might just stop at Palisade I think my legs and body could use a easier day, a little more rest. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, it's 9 o'clock and we're 4 miles from Mather Pass. We just took a little break. Mosquitoes are pretty bad down here at the Bench Creek crossing. Here we go. Probably get to the top around maybe 11:30. We'll see. At the top's 12,100 and something feet. 12.1. 1 o'clock. Should I eat lunch or just a bar? So it's around 5 o'clock. We got down here after going over the pass. Had some sprinkles. It rained pretty good for about a minute. Sprinkles, then it stopped again. Didn't stop me from getting into this lake, going for a dip. You can see I'm right there. We'll see what the weather has in store for us. Those are the clouds that are rolling in. Maybe there's a break, make some dinner, eat, and then sleep. Do it all again tomorrow. Okay, it's kind of wet last night, and so my tent was a little wet, so things are drying out. But I'm gonna pack up right now and get going. 14 miles today. Long day of downhill and a long day of uphill. So we're at this campsite. There's lots of people here. Our tent spread out all around. You may catch one in the background. So hard day. And tomorrow we're 3.5 miles from Muir Pass. So we got to go that way, up that way, up there, and then into Evolution Lake. Good night. Good morning. We started at 7:30 and today is 3.5 miles up to Muir Pass and it's all up. And then the next 2 days is all downhill. So we're still going. I think today, Scott and Julie or Jill, they're gonna push. I'm not gonna push. They're trying to get to MTR. It's 20 miles. Not doing that today. haven't done an evening one lately. I'm next here to McClure Meadows. Beautiful campsite. Not too bad with mosquitoes. The sun's going down. There's a slight breeze. So, and I'm just waiting for my dinner right over there. Went 14 miles today. Most of it downhill. A lot of it. We were over the pass at 3.5 miles, and everything else was down after that, or flat. Once we got to this canyon, it was pretty flat, and we were able to move pretty quick. Jill and Scott, they're actually at a campsite like 0.3 of a mile further down. So the goal is now is to try to make VVR by Wednesday night. Today's Monday, and that's doable. I'll be pulling into VVR late Wednesday, and then do a 0 day on Thursday and just rest before heading back out Friday and finishing. Good night. Good morning, and today is Tuesday, July 22nd, and I have 7 miles downhill, then 7 miles uphill. 7 miles will go quick this morning. It's currently 6:45, and I'm gonna get going a little bit. When the sun comes out, I'm gonna stop and have breakfast, and then around noon for lunch, I should be at the second bridge of the day, and I'm gonna take a good rest and pull some things out, let them dry out really good. Things are a little damp. So maybe get to Sally Keys tonight, and hopefully the VVR tomorrow night. We'll see how it goes. So I just saw Scott and Jill, and they were just getting up. Jill's got a resupply at Muir Trail Ranch, so they're gonna do a little detour, and we're gonna try to meet up together at Sally Keys late tonight, and hopefully they make it up there. It'd be nice to see them get all the way up to the lake. So on we go. Okay, so to the left, I had to keep going, and I'd have to take my shoes off and cross the creek. But I saw this mess in the middle of the creek, and I said, we're crossing that. And so now the alternative trail is right over here. And I didn't have to take my shoes off. Away we go. That's where I would have crossed. But, man, I saved a lot of time with taking off shoes and drying feet and putting shoes back on. Ah, glory.
Take the long way home if it meant I'd go walking by your door. Together we could see where the road will lead to the unknown. There is no end if you believe. Just take my hand and come with me. Sun coming up, you make my
Well, today it was 7 miles and 3,000 feet down, and then 7 miles and 3,000 feet back up, and tired. It's 5 o'clock. I've already got my tent set up right there. Went for a swim in the lake. I'm at Sally Keys Lake, and we're only 2.5 miles from Selden Pass. And it's not a really hard approach to the pass. It shouldn't take too long tomorrow. And that will help because then we have a long downhill, a short uphill, and then maybe pull into VVR tomorrow. So, gonna get settled in here. I'm still waiting for Scott and Jill. They went to Muir Trail Ranch to do a resupply while I headed this way. And yeah, it was a hard climb up. So, and you can hear it, I'm tired. So, have a good night. Good morning. We're at Sally Keys Lakes, and we're 1.8 miles from Selden Pass, which is just right over there. And then we're going to go 8 miles downhill, 2 miles uphill, and 6 miles into VVR. And hopefully when we hit the road, we can hitch a ride and not walk the last 3 miles, I think. So hopefully it's a good day. Well, coming down Bear Ridge, coming into VVR, I got my ankle on a rock and it popped and I went down hard. We'll see when I get there. You know, I'll take my shoes off and see what kind of damage it is. I'm just limping along, but tomorrow might be a different story. So stay tuned, but coming into VVR. Let's give you a tour of VVR. So this is the market. Oh. Plenty of things to keep you occupied if you're here for a while. Lots of things. Look, you can ship stuff home. Fishing supplies. I'm gonna need some of those right there. Yeah. And camping supplies. Not gonna need any of that. Beverages, snacks, food, hot chocolate, tea. I might get some teas and tortillas. You can make s'mores. Lots of ramen. Let's check out the dining areas. We're having dinner tonight.
Well, in the way you look.
Yeah, the patio. Where we're watching the game. Everybody charging their devices over here. And people hanging out around the fire. And over there is Mushroom City. And that's where everybody camps. Oh my gosh, it was a monster day. We left Sally Keys this morning at 7 and we got here 19 miles later at VVR by, I don't know, 3:30, 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Had a great dinner. Tomorrow is 0 day. We're just gonna hang here for a whole day. Scott and I are. Jill is gonna take off on the ferry out of here at 3. On Friday, Scott will try to catch her. Me, I'm gonna pump the brakes and just take my time getting to Yosemite. So today is the 23rd, 24th is 0, 25th back on trail. And arriving in Yosemite August 2nd. So have a good evening. Good morning. It is Thursday, July 24th, and this is where I stayed last night here at VVR. Right over this building right here. That's bathrooms and showers. Yeah, just gonna hang out here all day. Right here in this bear locker. I have my bear can and I have my resupply. So eventually I'm gonna go through that and get everything set up for tomorrow and head out. So I'll do some video or photos today around here at VVR. Okay, so the ferry left one end of the lake at 9 o'clock and we reached the other end about 9:50. It's about 10:30 and got a 6-mile hike to Silver Pass. And then I think it's about 2 miles down to the lake that I'm gonna stay at for the night. So we'll see how the day goes.
peaks is Yosemite. And to the right, just a little bit, right, let's see, right, there we go. Right there, that's Donahue Pass, right over there. A few days.
Well, hello there. Went 11.2 miles today. We jumped on the ferry at 9. It docked about 9:50, and then on our way. So, trying to slow down. So tomorrow, I'm gonna go 14 miles to the next campsite, and then I'm gonna get into Red's Meadow probably about midday, and then stay the night at Red's Meadow campground. And then that should help slow me down and have me arrive in Yosemite August 2nd. Today is July 25th. Tomorrow is July 26th. And that is my birthday. Good morning. It is July 26th. Last night, camped at Fish Creek. It's kind of in this narrow series of canyons and surrounded by water. So it got cold last night. There was a ton of condensation. Yeah, take a look. So my rain fly is over there. It's just soaked. I shook it out. You can see where the rock's all wet. But I come back here and there's a little water on my tent. So I'm gonna give this a shake. So I'm gonna hike 3 miles up to Virginia Lake, where there's lots of sun, lots of big rocks, and I'm gonna pull everything out and let it dry out real good. My quilt got a little damp, so just set it in the sun for a while. And I'll have breakfast up there in the sun, heating up. And then from there, 11 miles to my next camp. Have a great day. everyone, and I made it to camp. It was a 11 and a half miles today, and it went pretty easy. A lot of flat, a lot of downhill, and I got here about 3, so I've been just kind of hanging out. I had lunch at 3, so in a little while I'm going to go ahead and make my dinner. I'm about 5 miles from Reds Meadow, so I'm going to take my time getting up in the morning, have a little breakfast, walk into Reds Meadows to the backpackers campground, and I'm going to stay there tomorrow night. So very short day, but a lot of rest for the final push, the final 5 nights, getting into Yosemite. And happy birthday to me. Morning, and today I have 5.5 miles down to Reds Meadow. I'll get there pretty close to lunch, and I'll go and have lunch at the restaurant there, and I'm going to be staying the night there and then taking off in the morning again, and then I should arrive on time in Yosemite. So short day, but that's okay. Good morning. I just left the backpackers campground. I'm heading back over here to the market and restaurant. I'm gonna grab some breakfast here. And I got a really moderate day, about 8.5 miles, 9 miles. And along the way, I'm gonna stop at Devil's Post Pile. Check that out. So off we go.
was a short day, 8.5 miles. Left Reds at 9, made it up here by 2, and then I had lunch. I went for a swim in the lake, doctored up my toes a bit more, dealing with some blisters. Had a snack. We'll start dinner here in about 45 minutes, 30 minutes, and get settled in for the night. So tomorrow, 10 miles. The next day, 10 miles. And I think 2 13s, then finish Saturday. So earlier, a group of 15 pulled in just on the other side of this rock. Mostly teenagers. There's 2 adults, actually. But I found out they're from San Diego, some organization. And they're all cowboy camping, so no tents, just sleeping on their air mattresses out in the open. So could be an interesting evening. Good morning. Rosalie Lake. It's a little after 8 o'clock. Just getting going. And 10 miles today to Rush Creek. So I got a big downhill, then an uphill, then a downhill, then an uphill, then a downhill, and I'm done. So let's get this day going. 10-mile day on this Tuesday, July 29th. I just got to camp about a half hour ago. Had lunch. It was a late lunch, so it's about 3 o'clock now. I have Rush Creek right behind me, and it sets me up for 3.5 miles to Donahue Pass, which is just right over there, and then a short downhill and a long flat stretch for a total of 10 miles tomorrow to Ireland Creek. So that's about 4 miles out of Tuolumne Meadows. So today is done. Just gonna relax and look at trees. Good morning. It is Wednesday, July 30th, and I'm going over Donahue Pass. A total of 10 miles today to Lyle Creek, or Ireland Creek, and stay there tonight. So early start this morning, 3.5 miles to the top of Donahue, and gonna have a good day. Well, it was a weird day today. Got going at 7, got over the pass by 9:30. 11 o'clock, thunderstorm rolled in, thunder, lightning, sprinkling, hailing. So I got to where I needed to camp, and there was a break in the weather, so I just set up tent. And I got here like 12:30, and I set up my tent and climbed in and just waited it out. And now it is hopefully dissipating and gonna hold off. It's gonna get cold tonight. I think it's gonna get down to 37, 38 degrees. And then tomorrow, I think it's 11 or 12 miles. Half of that is flat, maybe a little more than half. And camp at Upper Cathedral Lake. Hopefully a good day of weather tomorrow. And then the next day down to Little Yosemite Valley, one night there, and then drop into Yosemite Valley, where my journey will come to an end. Have a good night. Good morning. Today is Thursday. I'm here in Lyle Canyon, about 5.5 miles from Tuolumne Meadows, and it was cold last night. It got down to 36, and just before the sun came up, it was 38. Sun is out. It's actually warming up pretty good. I have my rain fly back there, kind of drying out a little bit. A lot of humidity last night, so a lot of condensation. Don't know where I'm going to go today exactly. I don't know if I'm going to go up with Cathedral or the High Sierra Camp, which is 4 miles further. I broke out the gloves this morning. First time this whole trip because it was cold. My toes are still cold. So I got to get moving. So here we go. Off and running. Okay, it's the end of the day. We're at the old Sierra High Camp, and or the High Sierra Camp. It's 7 o'clock. Had a long day. Did 16.3 miles. I got to Tuolumne Meadows and had lunch. And then heading out, I connected with 3 guys from the East Coast. Harry, who is a professor at Columbia, and his son Michael and his friend Isaac. We got to Cathedral Lake, Upper Cathedral Lake, went for a swim and felt refreshed, and went the extra 4 miles here. So, and the nice thing is it's got a bathroom. And so it's 8 miles down to Little Yosemite Valley, and I'll do one more night there. So have a good night. Well, good morning. It is Friday, August 1st. Wow. And I'm almost done. It's a little after 8. It was a little damp last night, so everything's drying out. And I think about 8:30, I'll be good to go. I got 8.5 miles down to Little Yosemite Valley. And there I will camp one more night. And then it's 4 miles into the valley and get picked up. And my journey is over. Have a good day. So it is Friday afternoon. I'm at the Little Yosemite Valley campground, and it is busy with backpackers, whether they're going further into the backcountry or they're coming down like me. A lot of them, I think, backpack to this point, and then they do Half Dome or Clouds Rest and then come back. I got here, set up my tent. I went for a swim in the river and rinsed some socks and got some water, and I'm just hanging out. I just had lunch, and I'm just gonna hang out here until dinner, and after dinner go to sleep. And then in the morning, hike into Yosemite Valley. So 4.5 miles to the end of the trail. And then I think I got like a 2-mile walk to Curry Village. So anyway, almost there. Good morning. It is the last day, August 2nd, Saturday. I've already done a mile since camp. I had to get out of camp. It was driving me nuts. There were way too many people. Last night at one of the community fire pits, they were just way too loud. They're supposed to shut it down at 10, but they think they closed it down at 11:30. So yeah, not a fun night. So I got up and got going, and now I'm at Nevada Falls. And from here, it's about 3.5 miles down to the valley floor, and I'll be done. So here we go.
One friend left to sell clothes, and one works down by the coast. One had 2 kids but lives alone. One's brother overdosed. One's already on his 2nd wife.
That's it. I'm done. Finished it. Now it's a mile to Curry Village.
Go home and I'm on my way. I still remember these old country lanes when we...
So I just ran into the girls water polo coach at Hanford West High School, and he was saying he's lived here all his life in California and he's never been to Yosemite. So that was interesting. But wow, a familiar face. Crazy. I was asked, now that you've completed it, would you do it again? Well, what do you think? morning. It is the last day, August 2nd, Saturday. I've already done a mile since camp. I had to get out of camp. It was driving me nuts. There were way too many people. Last night at one of the community fire pits, they were just way too loud. They're supposed to shut it down at 10, but they think they closed it down at 11:30. So yeah, not a fun night. So I got up and got going, and now I'm at Nevada Falls. And from here, it's about 3.5 miles down to the valley floor, and I'll be done. So here we go.
One friend left to sell clothes, and one works down by the coast. One had 2 kids but lives alone. One's brother overdosed. One's already on his 2nd wife. One's
That's it. I'm done. Finished it. Now it's a mile to Curry Village.
go home, and now I'm on my way. I still remember these old country lanes when we.
So I just ran into the girls water polo coach at Hanford West High School, and he was saying he's lived here all his life in California and he's never been to Yosemite. So that was interesting. But wow, a familiar face. Crazy.
I was asked, now that you've completed, would you do it again? Well, what do you think?